Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. And we'll begin with the verse of the Kesa. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Please stand for the incense offering. 3 bows. The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present. It fills our sacred space, guards our minds from wrong thinking. Fragrance of this incense unites us with virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. We offer it on behalf of all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for refuge. Being one with the Buddha, I resolve to each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for refuge. Being one with the Dharma, the gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for refuge. Being one with the Sangha, in the spirit of universal fellowship and as a member of the Sangha, I pledge to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. So this is the last Wednesday of the month. So we'll do a silent meditation tonight. 20 minutes. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now. In reciting the sutras, hearing the Dharma, and training the mind, great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. Let their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for the health and well-being of all those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, and those ministering to the sick and the grieving. We pray for those suffering from violence, for the oppressed, the imprisoned, and all refugees. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. Sabbe sata sadahantu avera sukha jivino katang punya phalang maihang sabbe bhagi bhavantu te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings springing from the good I have done. Oops. I lost it. I lost our stream somehow. There, I got everybody back. That way I can watch the chat. So I want to read you a very short passage. This is from Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And the chapter is called, it's a transcribed talk probably, it's called Mind Weeds. When the alarm rings early in the morning and you get up, I think you probably don't feel so good. It's not easy to go and sit. And even after you arrive at the Zendo and begin Zazen, you have to encourage yourself to sit well. These are just waves of your mind. In pure Zazen, which means sitting meditation, for those of you who don't know, there should not be any waves in your mind. While you are sitting, these waves will become smaller and smaller, and your effort will change into some subtle feeling. Anybody experience that? Last 20 minutes, waves of activity in your mind, things coming and going as you're trying to sit quietly with a calm mind? Sure. I did too. You know, there's a lot of stress, a lot of stuff going on, and, you know, a lot of things to think about. And so these things pop up. So, you know, it's part of the experience. We say, pulling out the weeds, we give nourishment to the plant. We pull the weeds and bury them near the plant to give it nourishment. So even though you have some difficulty in your practice, even though you have some waves while you're sitting, those waves themselves will help you. So you should not be bothered by your mind. You should rather be grateful for the weeds, because eventually they will enrich your practice. If you have some experience of how the weeds in your mind change into mental nourishment, your practice will make remarkable progress. So I chose this today because several reasons, actually. So one is recently someone came up to me at White Sands who was struggling with meditation, trying to learn how to meditate. They're fairly new to it. And they had been talking to a friend about the problems that they were having, and the friend said, "Oh, meditation is really hard." And so I said, "Well, what is it you're having trouble with?" "Well, how do I stop the thoughts from basically derailing my attention? You know, how do I stop thinking?" Well, you don't. You know, thoughts arise. Thoughts arise in the mind. So the teaching on not self says form is not self. This isn't me. Feelings, perceptions, mental formations, thoughts, memories, things like that are not mine. Consciousness is not mine. So we don't do anything to get thoughts, they just arise. You can't prevent them arising. You can develop some states of mind, certain skills, certain ways of working with things, and you'll get less rising, especially when you're meditating, when your mind kind of learns that this is what's going on. But you're always going to get stuff coming into your awareness. If it's not your own thoughts, it's sounds from outside. It's physical sensations. Things come up. So don't cling to them. And just, sometimes when I do a guided meditation, I'll tell you, let go or let be. Everything that comes into your attention, you can either let pass or you can just let it be there. It's part of the experience of the present moment. So when we learn how to meditate, kind of the first thing that we should be working on doing is setting the mind on something. It's very difficult if I just said, okay, just sit and don't think for 20 minutes. That's a real challenge. Now, you can do it as long as you don't confuse thoughts arising in your mind with thinking. Sometimes you'll read one of these meditation teachers and they'll say, well, don't think. So thinking is a willful action. It's an action of mind. Karma is action of body, speech, and mind. Thoughts arise, and then it's kind of up to you whether to think about them or not. Now, a lot of the time, that happens without a lot of conscious attention. A memory comes up, something that you were supposed to have done today. I had one of those today. The thing comes up, oh, I was supposed to have done this. Okay, so you had this recognition. With practice, you put some space between that thing that has arisen and how you react to it. The way you get that practice is you react to it, I won't say badly, you react to it in a way you really don't want to. You let it hook you. And then you go, oops, I got hooked. And then you unhook yourself. With time, you'll notice, oh, this thought has arisen, and I'm feeling this urge to go chase after it. And I won't do that. And so you let it go. But it takes some practice. And it also takes some concentration. When you're going through a busy life and you're suddenly going, it's Wednesday night, I gotta get over here and meditate. And you got 20 minutes to try to squeeze in concentration in the course of a completely unconcentrated life. Sometimes some of our lives are pretty chaotic, at least part of the time. It takes a while for your mind to settle down. But that's okay. So as I was telling this person that I mentioned, meditating is not about sitting down and having a certain kind of experience. And this is what a lot of the time when people think meditation is hard, this is why they think it's hard. They have this expectation that I'm going to sit down and there's some technique I'm going to be able to do that's going to make me feel really peaceful. Well, what's going to make you feel really peaceful is dealing with all the unpeacefulness. Dealing with the weeds as they come up, pulling them out, and letting them then nourish your practice. That sounds really kind of cool when you think about it that way. When you're experiencing it in meditation, it's just a pain in the butt. You want to sit and be peaceful, and all this stuff is coming up. Okay. But, again, this is the process of meditating. I had another one of those conversations recently where somebody came to me and said, I can't meditate. And I said, what do you mean you can't meditate? Well, my mind just jumps all over the place. And you notice your mind jumping all over the place. Well, yeah, that's meditation. Being aware of what the mind is doing. Once you're aware of what the mind is doing, then you can be kind of selective about what you allow the mind to do. So you notice, I had this thought, and now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm thinking about how I'm going to fix the fact that I didn't do this thing that I was supposed to have done this afternoon. Now let me stop that because I'm not going to do anything about that right now. I got 18 more minutes on the clock. Let me sit and watch my breath. So this is the other thing. There are meditation techniques that are really non-techniques. You know, you just sit. And whatever comes up, you let go of it. That's really very challenging. It's a lot better until you get to a certain point in meditation and you have a retreat to go to and your mind can settle down to that point that you can do that. It's much more effective to concentrate on something. And so what I always teach everybody first is concentrate on the breath. Everybody breathes. Doesn't belong to any particular religious tradition. It doesn't have any particular mystical meaning. You can't live without it. And so it's important. And so everybody does it. And so meditate on the breath. In, out, in, out, in, out. And when you notice that you're doing something besides that, let go of that and come back to the breath. That makes it a lot easier to cultivate that kind of concentration that will allow the mind to settle down and stop being one wave after another, one wave after another. And you'll get some calmness that way. And sometimes, you know, on a Wednesday night, it's going to be very calm. And sometimes on a Wednesday night, it's going to be rough sailing. They're both good. They're both good. Because they're both training your mind. In fact, I'd say sometimes maybe the rough sailing is actually better for you. It's hard to know. You know, you can't measure some of this stuff. But, you know, you get a lot of benefit from dealing with the stuff that's difficult to deal with. If it was easy all the time, you'd be blasé about it. You probably wouldn't benefit from it. So that's kind of one of the main things I wanted to talk about tonight. Part of the reason that I wanted to talk about meditation specifically right now is that I know a lot of people are, during the summer, you know, they spend more time indoors because it's so hot outside. And that's a good time to meditate. You know, meditate early in the morning when it's still cool, before everything gets busy, that sort of stuff. There's some things going on this summer that could give you some opportunities to do some extra meditation. So, and the one that I should probably plug first is that White Sands and Brevard Zen Center is going to do another one of those sessions. It's 3 full days plus the evening before and the morning after. July 20th, which is a Wednesday, through that Sunday morning, whatever that date is. So I'll be sending out an announcement about that. So if you're subscribing to the email, you'll get that. And that's a really good way to develop some meditation skill. So this conversation that I mentioned to you, it happened on Sunday during the retreat. And people go on a retreat sometimes and they think it's going to be easy. I'll tell people, oh yeah, you know, go on a 10-day silent retreat. Oh, it's going to be so peaceful. You've never been on a 10-day silent retreat, have you? You know, it's everything but peaceful because your mind is coming up with all those reasons why you shouldn't be there and why there are more important things for you to do than sit quietly for 10 days. But when you get through that, then your mind can calm down in ways that you never imagined possible. So a 3-day retreat is actually a really kind of perfect way to start. In 3 days, there's something kind of magical about day 3. I don't know why this is, but almost everybody experiences this, that about the 3rd day, you find kind of qualities of mind that you didn't know you had. I don't want to describe it any more than that because then you'll be looking for it. Oh, I wonder, is this what he was talking about? No, you know, and then you'll miss it. But you get a chance really to really focus on meditation. And when you do that, your mind can calm down, goes, okay, this is my job now. This is what I'm supposed to do. And you'll settle down. If you decide to go on a retreat, that one or another one, be prepared for your attention to wander, and specifically to wander toward reasons why you shouldn't be there. It's almost universal. It's the first, if you've never done one, you're going to have that experience. I can almost guarantee it. That probably by about halfway through the first full day, you think of a million reasons why you need to be somewhere else. And it's just your mind just not wanting to settle down. So ride that out, and you'll be glad you did. The other thing is, if you can't do that, or even if you can, you might want to do this also. New York Zen Center for Contemplative Care does an annual thing called Commit to Sit. It's a 90-day program. You read a book together. The book is kind of interesting. I haven't read it. I'm going to do this one myself. The book is a collection of writings by a Japanese Zen priestess, I guess you'd say, female Dharma teacher, written in the 1930s. And so it sounds, and she just recently got some honor from the Japanese Soto Zen world, that she's the first woman to have gotten this honor in like 850 years or something like that. So there's a little cost to it, but it's not very expensive. And basically, you're supposed to sit every day. They send you an email to remind you of that with some excerpts from the book and things like that. And then there's a weekly Dharma talk. The Dharma talk's on Thursdays. I think it's 7:30, because I was looking at it going, oh, good, I could do this and still do our Thursday calls. So if you want more on that, email me and let me know, and I'll copy the email that I got from them. So, yeah. So one other thing before we have before I open it up for discussion. What time is it? So this will be our last meeting here for a little while. We're going to go back to me streaming from my office for a while. Please give a hand to our production guy, Dr. Brandon Lewis. He's been making this happen all this time, and he has to go make a living. Imagine that. So since he's not going to be available for a bit, I figured this would be a good time. And attendance always drops off in the summer and stuff. So we'll, until probably around the time school starts back up, we'll just do that. But we'll try to do some things during the summer where we give everybody a chance to get together. And I know we have a refuge ceremony to do, right? And I think I know where we can do that. So when you're ready, just let me know. And of course, I'll still stream every Wednesday night. We still have the Zoom meetings on Thursday. So if you don't know how to access that information, let me know, and I'll hook you up. All right? Any questions, comments, or concerns about anything? Yes.
Yeah, so this is probably the most basic question ever, but I'm looking into setting up an altar at my house.
Oh, okay.
So I've been looking for information on that, and it looks like it can be kind of anything you want it to be in some regards, but in other ways there are specifics. So if you have any advice, that would be great.
That is a wonderful question. I'm really happy you asked that, especially since we're going to be kind of on our own for a little while. I think this is a good time, if you don't have an altar at home, to set one up. Different traditions have very different ways of doing that. So, you know, in some, like with Bright Dawn, where Brandon and I are both have the ministry ordination. It's Japanese, and they have like basically a cabinet that the Buddha goes in, and they're very cool. They can be very expensive too, but they're very cool. And you know, Tibetan altars can have all kinds of stuff on there that has to be set out a certain way, you know. the the key thing is to have, um, typically a statue of the Buddha. It doesn't have to be Sakyamuni Buddha. That would be the most common. But if, for example, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was really resonant with you, you could put Kuan Yin, Kwanam, Avalokitesvara up there, and that would work. Amitabha, that's Sakyamuni. My altar at home has Amitabha Buddha on it, which is and most people looking wouldn't notice the difference. I happen to know, but Amitabha is the Buddha of infinite light and life. It needs to be a figure that is meaningful to you. That's the important thing. You look at it and go, that's what I want to do. Okay. And then the other traditional items that are almost universal are going to be some form of flower. So because of traveling and setting up altars on the fly and all of that, someone gave me that bowl it's formed of a lotus blossom, and so that's a stand-in for flowers for us unless we do something special and bring in flowers. But if you have flowers at home or whatever, and you can use silk flowers or something, that's okay. Flowers represent impermanence, but in a really beautiful way. So, you look at a flower, it's not going to last very long, so you appreciate its beauty at the moment. Also, when you go into a lot of temples, you'll see a lot of flowers, usually different kinds of flowers. And the abbot at Wat Florida Dhammaram told me once, said that we have a lot of different kinds of flowers because there's a lot of different kinds of people. And I thought, that's really nice. I mean, to think, to see that way. Water is almost always on Buddhist altars. Water represents merit. Merit being the accumulated results of our good actions. And like water, merit goes where it goes. You never know where it's going to end up. It flows where it flows. But also, the first stage of enlightenment is stream entry. Well, stream entry happens when you've accumulated enough drops of merit that you have a stream of merit that's going to take you inexorably toward awakening. So that's why water is there. Incense. Incense represents basically nirvana, enlightenment itself. Nirvana is the burning away of all of the things that fuel rebirth. And as you burn those away, you experience the fragrance of freedom. So that's one kind of good way of looking at incense. When you light the incense, you're not just lighting incense, you're offering incense to the Buddha. Not because Buddhas need incense, but you need to give. That's an act of generosity when you do that. And the other thing about incense is that giving it up is how you experience the beneficial effect of it. If you just carry around a stick of incense, so what? When you give it up, you experience the fragrance. And it goes everywhere. I can't light a stick of incense and go, well, I'm going to be the only one who gets to smell that tonight. The rest of you guys, heck with you, right? It doesn't work that way. If I light it, it goes where it goes. And so that's my Dharma name on the Zen master side, the Rinzai side, is Phap Hung Nhat, Vietnamese for Dharma fragrance, the first. And that's what the fragrance is about. A candle, represents light. Doesn't have to be a candle. It can be an electric candle or something like that, but you need some source of light on your altar. And that's basic. That's the basic things. So I have a fair amount of stuff on my altar at home. The things that are meaningful to me, because they've been given to me. They were gifts, and they just seemed it would be appropriate to be on my altar, or like I have a leaf from the Bodhi tree in India. I have, some things that I picked up at the pilgrimage sites in India, things like that. Um, Dharma books are a good opportunity. Brandon gave me a copy of the liturgy book from Zen Mountain Monastery. Yeah. And it's funny, I use it all the time, but I forgot where it came from. And it's on my altar. Yeah, so that kind of thing, something, whatever significant to you. Now, how much room do you have?
I mean, I could do a big one in my house, or I was thinking I wanted maybe a smaller one on our screen room in the back, because it's under a roof, and it's just, that's where I like to sit, because I can hear the birds and it's quiet.
Yeah, good,
So I don't
good.
know, so it could be smaller.
Yeah, and you can order those those Japanese cabinet things like I was telling you about, and some of them are crafted really well to provide a space for all of those kind of most critical things. So there's a little drawer for your incense and that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, sure. Good question. Very good question. Any other questions? Good ones or bad ones? All right. Well, it is almost 8 o'clock, so do the great vows. Creations are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. Light and way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody. Excuse me. Friends, I respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time swiftly passes by and opportunity is lost. Each of us must strive to awaken. Awaken. Take heed. Do not squander this life. Please stand. 3 bows to the Buddha. To the teacher. To each other. And thank you all very much, and I will see you again soon.